Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's largest platform for entrepreneurs. Anything related to any aspect of your business, we've got it covered here on the show. I'm Sananda Jayaseelan. On the show tonight, I'm first up in conversation with one of India's best known entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial success stories. I'm talking Pepperfry. We're also speaking with the CEO of Talabat, Tomaso Rodriguez. That's on our Dubai special series. Ambareesh, so good having you joining us here. We had you join us 2 years ago at the Leaders of Tomorrow Awards, inspiring young entrepreneurs with your personal journey. And it's good having you joining us in season 9. I want to start by really talking about the way the market has perhaps changed during the pandemic and what those changes have been, and start with some data. We love data here on the Leaders of Tomorrow. Reports really suggesting that the market has grown nearly 80 to 85%. That's in 2019, 2020, though. If we were looking at the period of the pandemic, just give us a sense perhaps of how things have changed or improved. And I'm sure with so many people working from home, things have been good for a business like yours.
Thanks for having me here, Sunanda. I mean, it's a pleasure always joining in for Leaders of Tomorrow. The situation's been fairly interesting over the last 9 to 12 months. I mean, through the pandemic, I think a few fundamental things have happened. The first being that customers are, I think, have got a lot more used to buying products online. It all started with things like groceries, etc., during all the lockdowns, and then that's transferred itself into other categories such as furniture, and that's really helped. The second thing that's happened, I think, is there's a fundamental shift towards consumers looking to buy ready-made furniture as opposed to having products being made by carpenters and others, because just the let's just say the social distancing norms, the norms of various housing societies, etc., are preventing lots of people from getting work done at home. So therefore, there's a higher degree of comfort with ready-made furniture.
Okay, so let me talk about your personal journey as well. And I've always been meaning to ask you why the name Pepperfry? Where does that come from?
Yeah, so I mean, look, my personal journey is a very simple one. I have no business blood in the family. I'm a son of a scientist from the Indian Agricultural Research Institute in Delhi. My father passed away when I was very young, but my mom basically, helped us grow up and made us into what we are, me and my sister. No business blood in the family. Never figured that I would become a businessman at some point in time or an entrepreneur. So I guess a lot of this has been me discovering myself along the way, if I could use that term. Why did I name it Pepperfry? Okay, when Ashish and I were starting, we put three words, so to speak, on the whiteboard. The first was Indian, the second was honest, and the third was fun. So we said that we will build a company which basically takes or delivers to all of these three values. So if you look at Indian, then Indian is pepper is something that India has been famous for ages. It's the reason all the trade routes into India, etc., got discovered, and it's also a very honest spice. Everybody knows the smell, taste of pepper is available at practically every dining table. When it's honest and when things normally are honest, they tend to get a little boring because they're widely available and everybody knows them. So the fun of it only happens when you do the tadka or you fry it. And that's how the term pepper fry came about. I mean, I love the name. Wouldn't trade it for anything else. When we started off, yeah, I mean, it would have seemed odd that a furniture company is calling itself Pepper Fry, but things worked out well.
Okay, I do want to talk about branding and communication and branding businesses really, but I'll come to that in just a bit. I want to talk about the way the online e-commerce market has changed, particularly for furniture. This has been one segment that has really boomed. In the last 3 to 4 years, if you could talk to our entrepreneurs about what have been those biggest changes and what has really sort of driven that, and also give them insights about how you have stayed really ahead of these changes that have been taking place around you, responding to the changes that are happening.
So I think what's fundamentally changed, I wouldn't say changed. I think how the industry has adapted over the last 3 to 4 years is
Mm.
that, firstly, I think there's been, and you might have a question for me later on it, but I think there is a realization that increasingly it's the same customer who could be on a mobile phone at some point in time, she could be on a laptop at a second point in time, or walking in a mall at a third point in time. And so, therefore, it's the duty of every business to connect with her in whichever way she wants to connect with us, right? And so, therefore, that makes for every business becoming an omni-channel business. And that's, I think, a fundamental realization that's dawned not only across furniture, but also across the industry, if I might say so, where a lot more e-commerce operators going the omni-channel approach. So, omni-channel is something that over the last 2 3 years has been, I think, a significant shift for the industry. We've been ahead of the
Sure.
curve on it. Our thesis was always this, that it's the same customer and we should connect with her whichever way she wants to connect with us. So we had opened our first experience stores in early 2015. And so that's helped us significantly over the last 3 years as consumer patterns shifted, as this realization dawned amongst everybody that customers need to be interacted with in all manners. So the first is
Okay.
omni-channel. The second is the fact that our supply chains really helped. The third thing I think is, the Indian customer always was, I think had didn't have choice when it came to furniture
Mm.
products. So if you odds are, 10 years back, if you went into five houses, the chances of you seeing at least three pieces of furniture which were common across those five houses were very high. And so therefore, in order to deliver variety, most businesses needed to get into a have an ability to work with people who deliver variety, which means essentially small and medium businesses, small and medium manufacturers. Now, one of the things that
Sure.
Pepperfry has done well is we've set up a system of working with these small and medium entrepreneurs, small and medium manufacturers, to be able to provide
Sure.
tons of variety for the customers. So this variety proposition enables customers to personalize their houses whichever way they want. It's a reflection then of their personality rather than them having to put up with what's available on the street, right? I mean, and that's something that's really helped. So omni-channel, the fact that our supply chains really kicked in, the fact that we are able to deliver great variety, and then there's this entire piece of technology. So a combination of all of
Okay.
this, I think, in the industry fundamentally, and if I'm at the peril of sounding a little immodest, I think we've been ahead of the curve on all of this.
Amrish, I want to talk about the fact that reports suggesting you're looking at listing your business here over the next 12 to 18 months. My question is, first of all, congratulations. But
Thank
second,
you.
not a lot of startups perhaps look at the domestic markets, when they're looking at listing their businesses, and not a lot of entrepreneurs really look at the primary markets when it comes to fundraising. What would you like to tell entrepreneurs watching today's interview on both of these things? What's your thought process been?
Yeah, so I think the fundamental validation of a great business is the validation that that business receives from the public markets. That's
Okay.
just always been my belief. It's been my belief ever since I started Pepperfry, and
Sure.
I think that validation of any entrepreneur's efforts over several years is reflected in an IPO type event that the entrepreneur goes for. I also think that
Okay.
India is a great market. So think about it. I mean, what greater pleasure for my customers, my employees, and even for the founders and the management team than to have your brand listed in the country which basically defined what your name was. Again, timing. Look, we our preparations have been underway for the last 6 to 9 months. So timing wise, we are preparing, but timing is always a function of many factors. So give us 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get there.
Okay. In fact, the overarching theme that we had on the Leaders of Tomorrow previously was SMA to Sensex, looking at the primary markets as an option of fundraising for small businesses. And I do want to talk about 2021 and the theme that we have here on season 9 of the Leaders of Tomorrow, which is empowering a billion dreams. 2020 hasn't been a good year for most businesses, bar, businesses like yours. 2021, do you think it's going to be the resurgence of the entrepreneurial dream? What should small businesses do to gear up for growth coming back into the ecosystem next year?
So I think that the entrepreneurial dream never went away, even through 2020,
Okay.
and that's not the
Okay.
spirit of the entrepreneur. I mean, the spirit of the entrepreneur is you give us problems, we try and solve them, right? And so 2020 presented interesting problems for entrepreneurs to solve, and I think 2021 is going to come with its own share of interesting problems that entrepreneurs will need to solve in 2021. So I think that the entrepreneurial dream and entrepreneurship continued through 2021 and will thrive and do really well through 2021 also. So
Okay,
uh, in terms of opportunities, look, I think every situation, every environment offers opportunities. They range across services, products, what have you. It's just keep your eye out, figure out what works for you, what aligns with your interests as an individual, and what, if you're already in
sure,
a business, what aligns with your core capabilities as a business, and then go after them.
sure.
I think for 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 every problem there'll be five great solutions, and the trick is for entrepreneurs to pick up which solution works best for them.
All right, and wishing you all the very best then for all of your future plans. Ambrish, thank you so much for your time here on the show.
Thanks, Suranda. Pleasure being here.
Let's slip into a short break on that note. On the other side, I'm in conversation with Tomaso Rodriguez of Talabat. Back in just a moment. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight on our Dubai special series, I'm in conversation with the CEO of Talabat. Tomaso, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow weekend edition. I want to start by talking about the delivery business. What insights can you tell us about the delivery business in the Dubai UAE market, particularly, how perhaps any impact if you've seen due to the pandemic in 2020, trends, outlook for 2021. What would you like to tell us?
Thanks. Hi, Sananda. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Yes. So look, the pandemic has been a very interesting period, I think, for everyone, and it's really reshaped our way of doing business, right? So we found ourselves in a situation in which like customers were really relying on us to safely deliver food, groceries, and medicines, right? And the first priorities for us has always been the safety of our ecosystem. So, at the beginning, we were the first, like, really putting together a strategy to have gloves and have masks for all our riders and implementing contactless delivery and all these kind of things. So to provide safety to the ecosystem as utmost importance. Everybody thinks that food delivery has been skyrocketing during the pandemic, but it's not entirely true, because especially at the beginning we've seen quite a dip, quite a drop. In the delivery, because people were probably more cautious, more scared, etc. And then right after that, we started seeing a recovery in most of the markets. During that period, also, especially at the beginning of lockdown, all the restaurants were closed for dine-in, and it was very important for us to provide kind of a lifeline to them, right? And delivery was really their only option to make an income. So understanding and many, given many restaurants were going out of business because they didn't have the working capital to manage their business, we implemented some things to make sure they could stay alive. And for example, in the UAE, for 4,500 of the most at-risk restaurants we implemented a deferred commission scheme, so we will not charge them the commission in the first months of the pandemic, and recovery to later with a kind of a payment plan.
I want to take a step back and really talk about your business, what that has been like, what you want our viewers to know really about your business model.
Well, I mean, Talabat, it's I think probably not everybody knows it outside of the region, but it's been it's a 17-year-old company, so we're not a startup anymore, and probably one of the very first tech companies that were born in MENA, and one of the very first food delivery companies in the world. and it was born in 2004 in Kuwait, and it's been there for a while. Then we expanded in 9 markets across the region: UAE, Bahrain, Oman, Jordan, Egypt, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and recently Iraq. We're launching very soon. And in 2015, Talabat was acquired by Delivery Hero, which is an international group of food delivery, food tech companies that operates in 43 countries around the globe. Talabat today does some hundreds of millions of deliveries every year, and we are part of the fabric of the ecosystem, I would say.
I want to talk about the way digital has really impacted every industry, no matter what industry you're in. Rapid digitalization, particularly given the pandemic that we were just talking about, has changed the way it's done. Specific to the F&B industry, to the delivery business, could you talk about the changes that you've seen?
So one big change has been really for us to find new occasions for our customers, right? And I think during the pandemic, a lot of people were trying to get online whatever they were used to get offline before, right? And the big shift for us has been what we call quick commerce, right? And what we realized, and actually it's something that was going on way before the pandemic started, and something that we've been working on for a long time, is that people want more and more convenience over time, right? And what in the past, what would you do when you had to buy something? You would just go to a mall with your car, with your family, and buy things. Today, you had all the Amazons of the world coming up with what everybody calls e-commerce, right? Where you can buy and get it delivered in 2-3 days, right? What we think the future will be is what we call quick commerce. So everybody will be able to buy anything and get it delivered in 30 minutes at their doorstep, right? So what did we do? In March, actually, we launched what we call our first quick commerce concept, that is Talabat Mart, and also called dark stores, where we have some stores that are kind of the size of a convenience store, where we stock up around 7,000 grocery items that customers can order conveniently from the Talabat app. So you can really order your groceries and get it delivered in 30 minutes at your doorstep, 24/7. So literally any time of the day, any time of the night, you can do it. So it's been a great business, been growing very, very well. We opened already 57 stores in the region, and 20 of them in the UAE, investing more than $20 million in infrastructure in 2020 alone. So it's been growing very well, and we've been seeing some applications that we didn't even think about during since we opened, for example, and during the pandemic. I think one of the things that people were ordering a lot were nappies. Like we sold 50,000 boxes of nappies in the first few months.
I want to talk about the fact that despite starting out, I understand, in Kuwait, you now have the kind of size, and you were talking about what the 17-year journey has looked like for you. Give us a sense of what perhaps has helped you achieve the kind of scale that you have, becoming one of the largest really in the region. What really has helped you?
What is really at the core of Talabat is putting our customers front and center and listening to them. And we are very obsessed. We have a lot of ways to listen to what our customers say. We analyze, the chats when a customer reach out to the contact center. We look at the NPS surveys, where we ask the customers whether they would recommend the service to someone else or not, and why not or why yes. We listen to our social medias, what's been said about us. We really constantly, every single potential touch point we have with the customer, we take all the data, we take all that information, we put it together, and we really listen to what our customers are saying. We also do focus discussion groups with a subset of customers where we talk in person with them, etc. And that really drives a lot of improving our way of doing business every single day. So we make sure we do things that really matter to them.
Okay, let me talk to you about while you've been speaking about some of the innovations that you've launched both during the pandemic and earlier, if you can give us an outlook in terms of 2021 for you specifically, what is it looking like?
Yeah, so 2021, I think quick commerce will continue to be an area we will heavily and massively invest in. Another one is really cloud kitchens. So cloud kitchens, we've been investing in opening cloud kitchens for the past 3 to 4 years. They've been proving to be a very successful company. Concept. I don't know how familiar everyone is about that, but basically are kind of large kitchens with a lot of restaurants inside, where the value proposition for them is great because they can open a new location with very minimal investments. We don't charge rent, we don't charge anything, we just charge a variable commission. So it's a great idea to start and try a new concept in a new area. And through our data, we know exactly what will sell there, right? What will be great, the best option of cuisine type of like menu to open there. So it's a data-driven approach to open new concepts in a shared kitchen. So those I think we're going to continue to invest in 2021. They're proving to be very successful. And I think, one trend that we start seeing in 2021 is around, health and sustainability, right? So I think our customers are becoming more and more conscious about, healthy lifestyle. And as Talabat, we want to make sure we provide them with the right information to have, the best possible meal for their for a healthy living. Another couple of things, probably one is fintech. So I think also in India, fintech is a very fast moving sector for us as well. Cashless penetration, it's big, but also all those financial services that could be provided to customers in a more convenient way. And the last one I think is really given that the economy is recovering, the UAE economy is recovering. I think also new ways of working can be something to explore, like gig economy type of solutions. But I think they will become probably more prevalent in the F&B sector and the tech sector as well.
All right, Tomaso, thank you so much for your time here on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's all I could manage to pack into tonight's episode. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. Our contact details is coming up on your screens as we speak. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.